Good evening and welcome to another video on All How the Ale. It's Friday night, it's alcohol-free night and it's tasting session night. Which two beers are we doing? It's these two. It's Fresco and Valencia, the new pale ales from Fortitude. And let's just say a little bit about each beer. First of all, Fresco's pale ale, weighing at 0.5% ABV. That's your can artwork. I guess you could say it's a bit of a Fresco scene. And it says on the side, it's gluten-free and vegan, and it is inspired by life after alcohol and a healthy way of living. Fortitude bring you a light golden-coloured, easy-drinking pale ale, bursting with hops, bitterness, and everything you expect from a full ABV equivalent. Drink anywhere, anytime with Fortitude. And this one does list its hops as Cascade, being floral, Centennial brings the herbal edge, and Citra brings your tropical edge. You've got your usual hops, oats, wheat, malt, water, yeast, and potassium sorbate in this one. And yeah, it's brewed in the UK. And the alternative is Valencia, which is again a pale ale at 0.5% ABV. And this one, again, is a pale ale with an orange twist. This one doesn't list the hops, though, which is interesting. It's a shame, because I like to know what hops are in there. But it does tell you that it contains hops, oats, wheat, got it right this time, malt, orange, water, yeast, and again, potassium sorbate. And you've got your kind of, I guess, a beach scene there. Maybe reflecting the Spanish coast. Who knows? Is it a beach? It might not be. Can't quite tell, but I like it. It's kind of funky and pretty cool. So, without further ado, let's get these two out into a glass and see what we think. So we're going to pour the Fresco into this tulip style glass here, just so it's easier to distinguish the two upon point of scoring and stuff. So the pour on Fresco is pale. It's not that pale. It's got a nice bit of colour to it. Crystal clear with a nice off-white head, and it's, yeah, it looks good. It's a nice golden colour, clear as a bell. That's your beer in a glass. That is Fresco. And Valencia, I'm going to pour it into a straight style glass, again because it's different. It's easier for me to tell them apart. I should be able to tell them apart by the taste, but for visual guide, here we go. So the pour on Valencia is a little bit paler. So it is, again, similar light gold, slightly whiter head than Fresco. Side by side, really not an awful lot to tell between the two. Like I say, a slightly tighter head on Fresco than there is on the Valencia, but really they look much the same. So here we go. Which one? I'm going to score them in the same way as I would if I was doing individual beer reviews. We're not going to pit one against each other yet, as such. We'll do that after the scores. So ultimately, they both look good. You know, they look like a pale ale, more of the traditional style, being clear and fine. I think though, there is a subtle difference. The Fresco has a little tiny bit of haze and a little bit more oomph to it than the Valencia. So we're going to score them, pop them down, and then we'll give the surprising scores at the end. So Fresco, I like the look of it. Is it good? Yes. Is it very good? It looks as good as it can be, really, for a pale ale of a traditional style. I'm going to give it the 0.75. And I'm going to give it the 0.75 because I do like my pale ales to have a little bit of haze to them. I like a little bit more. And the Valencia, the head has gone, which is a shame. We've still got a little bit hanging around on the Fresco. But again, I like the colour. It's pale. It's a little less hazy than I would like. But otherwise, it looks all right. You know, it's a shame about the head, though. I'm going to give the Valencia the 0.5 on the appearance. So, we're going to go for some aromas. It's Fresco. It smells hoppy. It's malty. There's no distinguishing aromas of particular tropical fruits or anything like that. It smells like a classic light pale ale. You know, it's beer-like. And it sounds odd to say that, but in this world of craft beer where there's adjuncts aplenty and hops designed to bring out every tropical fruit this side of the Caribbean, you know, it's pleasant to have something that's beer aromaed for a change. It's nice. It's trad. And Valencia, there is a hint of orange. There is. Subtle as it may be, it's there. There are signs of hops. Can't quite nail them though. But otherwise the orange is quite dominant on the aroma. The malts sit there in the background. And it's a sweet orange on the nose. So, I'm going to give the points as such. Fresco, I really appreciate the real beer aroma. I like real beer, and I cannot lie. It could do with being stronger, I must admit, but that's not the be-all and end-all. It's still very nice. I'm going to give it the 0.75. And the Valencia, if you like oranges, you're going to love the aroma on this one. Orange is dominant, it's forward, the hops sit there behind it, they are quite subtle and restrained. And the malt, it kind of sits there and balances everything out. It's a slightly sweeter malt, but it's pleasant and it works well with everything else. I'm going to give it 0.75. So now we come to the first important test of any beer, the body. So we're going to go for Fresco first of all. We're going to score that first before we go on to Valencia. That's decent. It has a nice, solid mouthfeel. It's well carbonated. The carbonation is exciting. It's not in any way flat. It's a soft delivery. It's bubbly in the mouth. I like it. I'm going to give that body, you know, bearing in mind it's completely alcohol free, so they've got to have got the body from somewhere. It's great. I love it. I'm going to give it the full point on the body. And Valencia, the orangey one, it's a little bit lighter. It's still got a good carbonation. It's excitable in the mouth. It's a soft, smooth delivery. Again, slightly effervescent. I prefer the body, though, of the Fresco. The Valencia is still good. It's just not quite as good as the Fresco. I'm going to give it 0.75. And now we come to the important bit, and I've kind of cheated because I've tasted it first. And Fresco does exactly what it says on the tin. It's hoppy to a fault. It's balanced though. I must say that it is balanced. And there is a beautiful bitterness sitting there. And that is one thing I love about a pale ale. If a pale ale is missing that, for me it's missing the point. And I know it's not IPA territory where you get smacked in the face with a freight train of bitterness. This one though, I really, really appreciate. It's good. It's really good. On the nose, I had a fear that the malts might be a little too sweet, but they're really, really beautiful. It's kind of biscuity, and there's a subtle hint of caramel on the back end as well. And so it's hoppy to a fault. There's a subtle resinous note to it. The bitterness is beautiful. I think I'm going to give that a point right now. And I'm going to give it a whole point, because it's all about the taste. That is the most important thing when it comes to a beer, and Fresco's got it. Valencia, up front, that orange again is prominent. It's there right at the beginning, as it is with the aroma. It's a sweet orange. There is something dry about it as well. Not getting huge amounts of anything else in particular though. But as orange flavoured beers go, it's a nice orange flavour. It's decent. It's decent, but I think I've spoiled myself by going for the Fresco first. If you love orange, you're going to love Valencia. The hops are subtle. They are there. There's a subtle bitterness on the back end, and it's coming through towards the front of the tongue, which is kind of weird. I tend to get more bitterness towards the back, but that's just my tongue. Yours may be different. Your mileage may vary, as the saying goes. I like it. I just prefer slightly more traditional flavours of Fresco. It's good. Is it very good? It's kind of hard to say because I'm kind of biased towards the Fresco. I much prefer Fresco. Valencia's still good though. I'm going to give it the 0.75. It's very good actually, as orange flavoured beers go. They don't normally float my boat because the orange tends to be kind of really artificial tasting, and this is quite genuine and authentic. And now we come to the finish of the section and the finish of the beer. Fresco. I love it. The finish on Fresco is bitter. It's got all the hallmarks of a quality pale ale. It's got those beautiful malts that sit there. You think they're kind of hidden by the hops. They kind of are up front. The hops hit you first, then the hops fade, and you get that lovely malt on the back end. The bitterness that starts in the mouth comes through on the finish as well. It's really, really well executed. I'm going to give it the full point. It really is cracking. As for Valencia, you know, it's sweet orange. There is a subtle hop and a bit of malt on the flavour. But on the back end, there's a floral note that comes out from the hops. It's working quite well with the orange, and it elevates that and brings a real herbal experience and a slightly more sweeter perfumey note on the back end. If you like that, it's going to be really up your alley. If you're more a fan of straight up molten hops, this one might not be up your street, but it is certainly different and it's certainly enjoyable. It's quite long, it's flavoursome, and like I say, for those of you who like something a little bit different, this is going to be really up your street. I like it a lot. You know, I don't ordinarily like a lot of orange flavoured beers. Don't know why. They don't just float my boat. But this one, I really appreciate that kind of different experience on the back end. It's my favourite thing about the beer, and it's going to get a full point. So, we have scored in an unusual way for me, because normally I do the scores after I've revealed the untapped aid memoir. So if you've been keeping track of my scoring as we go through, you know the output. But we're going to go to the aid memoir from Untapped, which means showing the very green numbers. We've got an average of 3 for Fresco as a score with 1 check-in, and we've got 2.88 over 2 check-ins for Valencia. My scores, as you know, are a little bit higher than that. But they're different, so let's top them up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4.5 for Fresco, and 1.5 to 3.75 for Valencia. And that kind of makes sense to me. I am much a fan of traditional flavour pale ales. You know, they are a wonderful thing when they're done right, and it's hard to get a good alcohol-free one, excuse me, but this one is really, really well executed. Fresco is spot on. It really is. It's lovely. Yeah, Fresco is a delight. Valencia is really nice if you like orange beers. I like the finish a lot on this beer. Like I say, it's different. It brings a little something different to summer. And it is a summery beer, and that's exactly what I would, or what season I would drink this in. You know, it's maybe one if you want to kind of bring back memories of summer, have one in the winter, who knows? But ultimately, if you love orange, you're going to love a bit of Valencia. And there we go. So yeah, so 4.5 for Fresco, 3.5, 3.75. Yeah, 3.75 for my Valencia score there. Both great beers. Both beers that I very much appreciate being sent by Fortitude. And that's my my little bit of information for you there. These were sent to me to try, and I very much appreciate them all. So yeah, if you've not tried anything from Fortitude, their everyday lager was fantastic. And Fresco is my favourite by a long shot. It's got so much flavour. It's really, really delicious. And every single one of those hops, the Centennial, the Cascade, and the Citra, work wonderfully well. And it would be lovely to know what hops are in Valencia, because there's something exciting about that. Like I say, it's got a lot of flavour. It's vibrant, perfumey, and enjoyable. And if you haven't tried them yet, let's be honest, there's not many people on Untapped who have. Definitely give Fortitude a look for your alcohol-free stuff, because it's really rather tasty. And as the business goes, they were very brave setting up during the pandemic. It's a massive move, a massive respect to the boys and girls at Fortitude. And give them a try. The spirits are good as well. So on that note, I'm going to say that's been Fresco, that's been Valencia, I've been me. Those down there are the buttons. These have been delivered to me again by Fortitude. Give them a look, give them a try, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Catch you again soon. Bye.